welcome to my kitchen. I'm doing this as a video response to Katzcradul because she tagged me in her video top 5 food preps, and she was responding to EastTennesseeprepper, who we all know and love, when he put out the call and did a tag video asking for 3 people to do their top 5 food preps, and to also add a 6th comfort food prep. And Micah, honey, will you bring me a bag of those chocolate chips, because that's my comfort food prep, and I didn't bring it over here to show it. I cannot tell you how hard it was for me, thank you, to come up with my top 5. Now, Katzcradul took hers from a long-term food storage perspective, and she listed her top 5 food preps as her number 1 was garden seeds, and I have to agree with her wholeheartedly. I think that more important than anything else is to have seeds on hand so that you have a sustainable resource to feed you and your family. And the rest of her choices were whole wheat, corn, and she uses organic popcorn, rice, and oats. Now, I decided to take it a little bit different approach to this assignment. I have a lot of people ask me, I want to start prepping, I don't know where to start, it's overwhelming, what should I do first? That is an excellent question, because I think if you're just starting out prepping, I don't think you should go for long-term food storage right away. I think you should concentrate on short-term, easily accessible, what can I buy at the grocery store to prepare in the event of an emergency for my family. And not everybody has the opportunity to plant a garden. I understand if you live in the city or in an apartment situation, you can do pots, buckets, boxes, and that's great. I think we should all have seeds on hand, and I think that goes without saying. I think we should all have water on hand, or a water resource that we can go to in the event that something should happen. Those things, in my opinion, are absolutely go without saying. You should have a resource for seeds, you should have a collection of seeds, you should have a resource for water. But if I today were going to start prepping, and Rick looked at me, he said, well, what did we do when you got the crap scared out of you and you decided that you needed to start prepping? Well, I said flour, sugar, salt, yeast, milk, beans, and rice. And yes, that's more than 5. But I've categorized them. And maybe I'm cheating a little, but this is how I feel. So, the first thing I'm going to say, flour. From a short-term perspective, I would store flour, and I would store it in, I'd have it on my shelf, and if you want to store it for long-term, I would store it in vacuum-sealed bags or Mylar bags, and then I would put those bags in buckets. I buy my buckets from Lowe's, and they are dark, so they are not light permeable, and I can get 24 to 30 pounds of flour. I leave it in the bag, I seal the bag in another plastic food saver bag, and I put those bags in the bucket. This is how I choose to do it. You can always go the Mylar bag route, but a lot of people are not able to afford that extra cost. Even if you are on unemployment, you can start to prep a little bit every week. Buy an extra can. Do your shopping the right way. There are lots of sales, buy one, get one free, and depending on the time of year, you're going to be able to take advantage of different things when they're on sale. Yeast. To me, flour and yeast go together. I have a wholesale grocer in my town, and I buy this yeast. This is my favorite yeast. It's the SAF Instant Yeast. You don't need to proof it. You can just put it right in the bowl with your flour and all your other ingredients and make bread. You can see that this pound of yeast was $3.99, and this is probably well over 2 years old. I store this in my freezer. Always store yeast in your freezer. This is already vacuum sealed in a Mylar bag. When I open this, I put the yeast in a mason jar, and I store the mason jar in my freezer. As long as you keep your yeast frozen, it suspends the life of the yeast. It just stops any activity from going on. Sugar, or some sort of sweetener. White sugar, brown sugar, demerara sugar, turbinado sugar, honey, brown rice syrup, maple syrup, even pancake syrup, if you can get it, that has no high fructose corn syrup in it. And if you choose, it's your choice. I think the more choices you have available to you, the better. But sugar is a good place to start, because you need sugar to activate yeast. You need sugar to make life a little sweeter. And I don't know about you, but I don't know. If things got really bad, I don't know that I would want to live my life eating beans and rice and cornmeal mush, even though you certainly could. And if we're getting down to a point where we're talking about nothing but mere survival, yes, we could live without sugar. But we are at a point right now where we can make sure that we don't have to do that. So sugar is my number 2. Flour and yeast are my number 1. And yes, I know that's 2 items, but I think flour and yeast go together. Sugar is my number 2. Salt goes with the sugar, okay? You cannot live without salt. I know that there are people who are sensitive to salt because they have high blood pressure or they have heart conditions. We cannot survive, the human body cannot survive without sodium. They say that for every person in your family, you should be storing between 8 and 10 pounds of salt per year. I store canning salt that I have in Mylar bags, stored in buckets in my long-term food storage. However, I have Himalayan pink salt, which is a mineral salt. I have extra coarse sea salt, and I have fine sea salt. These are culinary salts that I choose to have on hand. You can have regular iodized salt. It doesn't really matter as long as you have some sort of salt. And you could take it a step further. I believe that you should have lots and lots of seasonings and spices and herbs available to you. I buy mine in bulk. You don't have to, but you're going to find that they're much cheaper, because when it gets right down to it, you're going to be dealing with appetite fatigue, and who wants to do that? If you had several different spices at your disposal, at least you could make rice 12 different ways, and it might not be that much of a problem for you. So, moving on, powdered milk. This is one thing that I remember when I first started out, is one of the things that I always constantly found myself putting in my cart. Flour, sugar, salt and seasonings, and powdered milk. Now, I use powdered milk when I make my bread recipe, so this is something I'm used to having on hand. But my neighbor goes to the LDS church, and once a year they do a big church buy where they go to the cannery, which is 5 hours away from where we live, and they take orders. So once a year I'm allowed to do that and build my food storage as I can afford to. Well, lately, the prices of the cannery have gone up, but still, when you don't have access to something, what really truly is the cost and what is it worth to you? So I think that instant milk is a really good option to have on hand. Rice. I'm going to say rice because it's easily accessible. You can buy rice in the grocery store. You can buy white rice or brown rice, but please don't buy instant rice because it's completely void of any type of nutrition. Rice will fill up your belly, and it will help you to put your children to bed not hungry. You add beans to the rice, any variety. Right here I have a jar full of red kidney beans, but I have so many different kinds of beans. I have kidney beans, white beans, navy beans, black beans. I have dried chickpeas. I have so many things. I have red lentils, yellow lentils, green lentils. They help you have a full stomach, and when mixed with rice, barley, wheat, pasta, they make a complete protein, and you have a really good chance at getting through whatever hard times you're getting through. Now, there we are. That's Flour and yeast, that's 1. Sugar and salt, that's 2. Rice, 3. Beans, 4. And milk. And really, there is no order. I think all these things are important. And then number 6 is gotta be chocolate. Right there. Frankly, I'm not a big chocolate eater, but my family loves chocolate. And given a dire situation, chocolate can help you through a lot of bad things. It can bring up your blood sugar. It can, it can be traded and bartered. It can help you get through tough times and make life a little more comfortable. So, I guess, I'm going to say, like I said before, water and seeds go without saying. I think that I could go so far in depth here and categorize these out. I think that you should start with proteins, then move on to grains, and then go on to sweeteners and seasonings and fats and things like that. I think as far as the top 5 individual items, these are what I would choose. If we were going to talk about the top 5 categories or my top 20 individual items, then I think that we could go more in depth. But if we're starting out, this is where I would start. Because if the crap does hit the fan, beans and rice will get you through. Bread and water will get you through. But I think that if you were able to make your own bread, and I think that if you don't know how to do that, you should start learning how to do that now. You can make tortillas, or you can make biscuits, or you can make any number of things as long as you have what you need. You can make bread with flour and water. You really can. But the bottom line is you shouldn't have to, as long as you prepare yourself well in advance. Many of the things that you keep on your shelf have a very long shelf life if they're taken care of properly. So, I'm going to end it here. I am not going to tag anybody. I am just doing this as a video response to Katzcradul. And it takes me a long time to process questions like this, because I tend to go in a lot of different directions, because I really feel like I have so much at my disposal right now. I still have a lot of things that I don't have that I really feel like I need to get. And I feel a real sense of urgency these days. And, I mean, my family's prepared. If something happened today, I'd be confident that we would be comfortable for a long time. But above all of these things, above seeds, above water, I think knowledge, faith, and the ability to remain calm. You know that old saying, you have to keep your head about you when all those around you have lost theirs? I think that is some of the best advice you could ever learn. Once you start storing and prepping and putting back, you will feel more confident in your abilities, and you will want to learn and do and acquire more things to help you have a more comfortable lifestyle. I pray that nothing ever happens. I don't ever want anything to happen. I want my life to be the way it is now. I love electricity, and I love being able to drive my car wherever I want to go. I love being able to take my family on vacation. And I will warn you, when you start, I think that number one, you have to be very confident, and you have to know in your mind that you are doing the right thing for yourself and your family. Because there will be people who tell you, they will accuse you of being a hoarder, they will accuse you of being insane, and they will discount you, and they will not listen to you. You have to know in your heart of hearts that you are doing the right thing and the best thing for yourself and your family. I know what I'm telling you because I know this from experience. Because I have had my family tell me those things. And not only have I had my family tell me those things, I've had perfect strangers send me emails telling me those things. And it hurts. I'm not going to lie to you, because you start to second guess yourself, and you start to stop believing that what you're doing is right. And you have to know that it is. I'm gonna leave you there. Go check out Katzcradul's video. I'll put a link below in the underbar, and check out East Tennessee Prepper's video, and I'll put a link in that underbar for him as well. Start wherever you want to start. Watch this video and take my information and do what you think is best. Watch Katzcradul's video and do what you think is best. Watch East Tennessee Prepper's video and do what you think is best. I know that he also tagged Misty Shooter and some other individual that I'm not familiar with. And then Katzcradul also tagged the Mrs. Wolfe and Bear Prepper. You need to get yourself informed. You need to arm yourself with knowledge, and then you need to go forward and do what's best for yourself. So, I apologize for my little emotional outburst. I really am sorry. I really do feel passionately about this, and I hope that in some ways that I'm helping you more than hurting you. So if you ever have any questions, please send me email. I can be reached through the personal message system on YouTube, or you can send me email at info@noreenskitchen.com, and I'll be happy and do my best to answer any questions you might have. So, I guess until next time, I'll see ya.